Good morning. Today we're going to study Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus is one of the periods in which we can divide the Middle Ages in the Iberian Peninsula, and it's going to last from 711 till 1492. First, we need to understand what happened in the Iberian Peninsula before the Muslims arrived. Okay, since the 3rd century, the Romans conquered the Iberian Peninsula, and after that, in the 6th century, the Visigoth kingdom of Toledo established in the Iberian Peninsula. One of the most important things that we need to know about the Visigoth kingdom, and it's going to affect how the Muslims enter or conquer the Iberian Peninsula, it's how they're going to be organized in politics. Okay, this is the most important part here, and it's everything about the election, okay, of the monarchy. So the disagreements about successions, okay, it's going to be one of the most important things that is going to affect now. Okay, so Al-Andalus. The first thing, I recommend you to watch this video, okay, you have it on the webpage. The question is, why did the Islam Empire reach the Iberian Peninsula so quickly? And we have two main answers, okay? The first one is the rapid Islamic expansion that had taken place all across the Mediterranean. So the conquest of the Iberian Peninsula was really a part of this process. And on the other hand, we have the internal divisions related with this political organization of the Visigoth kingdom. The conflict between the monarchy and the nobility, the conflict between two factions, between two candidates to be kings, it's going to promote, or it's going to provoke that the Muslims came into the Iberian Peninsula. Okay. So what happened? Okay, Arabs and Berbers, okay, forces crossed over from North Africa to the Iberian Peninsula in 711, okay, led by Tariq and Musa, and they defeated the Visigoth kingdom under their King Rodrigo at the Battle of Guadalete, beginning this way the Islamic conquest of the Iberian Peninsula. The Visigoth kingdom offered very little resistance. You can have here an image of the Battle of Guadalete. Okay, you have here Don Rodrigo and Tariq in the 11th century. Okay, as you can see here, here in this map, you can see the main two routes of Tariq and Musa. Okay, that are going to go through the Iberian Peninsula, and how fast they conquer the Iberian Peninsula. In just 3 years, they get into the north, into Leon. Okay. I have a timeline in which we can divide the different periods in which we divide the Al-Andalus, okay? Now, think about, did the population accept the new rulers and why, okay? One of the main things and the most important things is once the Muslims get into the Iberian Peninsula, they try to integrate the population. They try to get into different agreements of submissions with the noble gods. Islam, it's going to become the official religion. The Hispanogoths were Islamized. That meant that they learn Arabic, they convert into Islam, their costumes, their way of dressing, etc. They are going to be called Muladir. But on the other hand, the certain population that decided to remain Christians, they are going to be called Mozarabes. At first, they were tolerant of Christians and Jews, except during the Taifa kingdoms and Almoravids and Almohads, when they had to migrate north. Okay, the Muslims, they are not going to establish just only in the Iberian Peninsula. They try to go north to France, okay, to Francia, but they're going to be defeated by the Muslim in 732 in the Battle of Poitiers. Now, how are they going to organize the new territories that they have conquered? They have two options, an emirate or a caliphate. A caliphate, we have the caliph, that he has political authority and religious authority. On the other hand, we have the emirates, are like the provinces in which we can divide the caliphate, okay? They have just political authority, but not religious authority. It's going to be on the Abbasid, in this case at the beginning, on the Abbasid caliphs in Baghdad, okay? You have here, as in the timeline before, the different periods in which we can divide the Al-Andalus organization, okay? Sorry. Okay, the first period is the Muslim conquest and independent emirate, okay? just watch how quickly or how fast they're going to conquer the Iberian Peninsula, okay? This map shows the general expansion of the Islam Empire. The second period that you need to know is the independent Emirate of Cordoba, okay? The Umayyads, the Umayyad dynasty in Damascus, is going to be killed by the Abbasids, except one, Abderrahman I. He got to escape and he established in the Iberian Peninsula and started an independent emirate at Cordoba. And he is going to start this splendorous mosque in that city that we will study in the part of art. At the beginning, the authority was not very great due to the different rebellions, aristocrats, Berbers, Christian attacks, problems with Franks, with the Normans, etc. You can see here how they have to fight with different forces. Okay, here, this is important. Wait a second, okay? We cannot forget that Al-Andalus history is also the history of the northern Christian kingdoms. As we see the different stages of Al-Andalus, we see how they depend on the evolution of the northern Christian kingdom. What is more important that we are going to study here and also in the unit that it's called Christian kingdoms are these 3 points, okay? Progress and setbacks, borders, and resettlement, okay? Progress and setbacks. This is the main characteristics of this period, depending on the strength or weakness of each kingdom, Christians or Muslim. The other are going to take advantage and advance through the territory. This is what we call the Reconquista. On the other hand, we have borders. During the centuries, Christians are going to establish different borders. Castles and fortresses are built along the borders to protect them. And the last bullet is resettlement or repopulation. The Reconquista is not only a military effort, but also needed to populate, needed population to settle in the new territories. If not, the enemies, the Muslims in this case, could easily recover the territory. We will talk a lot about these 3 points, okay? So keep in mind. Next period is one of the most important in this history of Al-Andalus. It's called the Caliphate of Cordoba. In 929, Abderrahman III, it's going to declare Al-Andalus as a caliphate, okay? It's going to be a period of great cultural and economic achievement under the capital. Its capital, okay, called Cordoba, okay? It's going to be the most populated city in all Europe. Abderrahman III is going to strengthen the authority of the Caliph by winning victory against Christian territories in the north, suppressing internal rebellions, and against the Fatimid Empire in the north of Africa. However, at the end of the 10th century, they're going to have problems, okay? For example, with Hisam II, that he wasn't the legal age to govern neither region. That region is called Al-Mansur, or Al-Manzor, as we call it in Spanish, that he is going to strengthen again his power with a lot of wars against the Christians. But as you can see here, the main campaigns, military campaigns of Abderrahman III, and mainly Al-Mansur or Al-Manzor. But after his death, the caliphate is going to break down in a lot of small kingdoms. Starting here, the first Taifa kingdoms. First, we need to know what are the Taifas. Small Muslim kingdoms that were formed after the breakup of the caliphate. That means that they don't have an absolute power, so they're going to be divided. If they are divided, they are not going to have enough strength to fight against the Christians. They were much weaker and smaller, so consequently the Christians were able to make them pay taxes, or as we call it, parias, in return for peace. For example, during the first taifas, there were 25 different taifas. This was good for the Christians, okay? Why? Because as they collect taxes, they are going to have money to build a bigger army. And with that bigger army, they are going, for example, to conquer Toledo. Toledo is very important for them, for the Reconquista, because it was a symbol of the Visigoth kingdom of Toledo. Okay, you can see here the division of the Iberian Peninsula in the first taifas. Okay, as the first taifas were very unstable period, okay, they're going to call the Almoravids. The Almoravids, okay, they are a nomadic Muslim people that lived in the north of Africa, okay? They are going to start building a considerable empire in the north of Africa. So after the Christian conquest of Toledo in 1085 by Alfonso VI, the Almoravids enter in the Iberian Peninsula and defeat Alfonso VI in the Battle of Sagrajas. After that, they're going to gradually took control of the Taifat states and again unified all Al-Andalus. They are going to impose a very strict rule in Al-Andalus and very intolerant of the Christians Mozarab and Jewish minority. So the Christians, the Mozarabes, are going to emigrate north. After the Almoravids, okay, with the expansion of the Christian kingdoms, again we have split with the 2nd century, okay? They were weakened by Christians' opposition and the rise of the Almohads in the north of France, in the north of Africa. Almohads is the next period, okay? Another North African people, the Almohads, also practice an extreme version of Islam compared to the less strict religion which was usually practiced in Al-Andalus. They're going to replace the Almoravids and the second Taifas. During this period, they are going to be fairly prosperous. They are going to develop trade with North Africa and all the Mediterranean regions. Sevilla is going to be the capital and become a very important commercial city. They're going to build impressive buildings, for example, Giralda or Torre del Oro. You can see here the expansion of the Almohads. After them, again, another period of instability, okay, we have the third Taifas, okay. The Christian kingdoms are going to get united under Alfonso VIII of Castilla, and they're going to defeat the Almohads in the very famous and very important battles of Navas de Tolosa in 1212. This ended the Almohad rule, and by the mid-13th century, the Christians had conquered all the Iberian Peninsula except for Granada. That way, we started the last period of Al-Andalus, that is the Nasrid kingdoms of Granada. Okay, the only kingdom that is going to survive is Granada, which was ruled by the Nasrids until the 15th century. This kingdom occupied the present-day provinces of Granada, Malaga, and Almeria, although it later lost some of these territories. It was forced to pay paria or tribute, this tax we talked about. However, the region was fairly prosperous thanks to its agriculture and its trade with North Africa and Italy. Okay, Granada had a highly sophisticated culture. Its outstanding achievement was the magnificent wall complex of the Alhambra in Granada. The end of the Nasrid kingdom came with the Catholic kings, with the Reyes Católicos, Isabel and Fernando, that in 1492 they defeated the Nasrids and took Granada. The 5th of January, as you can see in this painting, Boabdil, the last king, gave the keys of the city to the new rulers. Okay, after studying what happened in politics, the different periods, we're going to talk about just a little bit about economy and political organization. The Muslims are going to achieve a huge level of economic development, okay, mainly in agriculture, with every related with water, mills, new crops, etc. Crafts are going to carry out in cities and reach a very high level. And trade, very important, because they were the intermediaries between the East and West. You can see here a graphic that shows you the main characteristics of the economy. And here you can see a graphic on how they're going to organize their administration. Okay, it's in Spanish in order you to understand it better. The Khalifa, the Prime Minister, the rest of ministers, okay, the government, etc. And that way they organize, okay, in society and culture, okay. This is important because we need to understand what happened with the people that lived in Hispania in the Iberian Peninsula before. Hispania had a diverse population before the Muslims, okay? Although the rulers were Visigoths, like the most ordinary people were the descendants of Roman citizens. Also, we have a very big Jewish community. At the beginning, as we studied, they respect till the Taifas and the Almoravids and the Almohads. Okay. Later, this was an important ethnic divisions, okay, between the Arabs and the Berbers that we study. You have here a pyramid on how we organize the society in Al-Andalus. Okay, and the different names we call it to the population. The Muladis, that were big Christians that converted to Islam and adopted language, customs, etc. And then on the other hand, Christians and Jewish. Their culture is very impressive. It's absorbed the influence of all the important Islamic centers, for example, Baghdad or Damascus, but this was enriched by local contributions. For example, we have important mathematicians or philosophers, etc. Al-Andalus is an urban society. You have here how city in Al-Andalus it will be organized. And the art is also very important. They're going to achieve a lot of importance. For example, here you can see this is ivory. Okay, this is called the Boteo of Zamora, which is very important. You can see it in Museo Arqueológico Nacional. Also tiles with these important colors. This is a dome in the Mosque of Córdoba. Okay, these different ways of decoration with vegetables and geometric figures. Okay, or here you can see at the top it's this is the Aljaferia of Zaragoza. This is how it will be the La Alhambra, one of the livings of the Granada. Okay, and here some of letters in Arab. Okay, Córdoba is the greatest city of Al-Andalus, I told you. Okay, and here you can see the outstanding Mosque of Córdoba. You can see here inside the mihrab, the most important part, etc. And the last part, just for you to know the influence that we have nowadays. Thanks to Al-Andalus, we have a lot of words, okay, in Spanish. For example, al, everything that it starts with al, or guad, that means big. Different books, buildings, crops, agricultural techniques, etc. They were introduced by the Arabs. Okay, you have here these that compare words that came from Spanish, the Arab, and also in English. How some of them have the influence and other. Okay, so I hope this it's good for you. Okay, in order you can study and watch it over and over as many times as you can. Goodbye.